Yo,
Yo,
what's up, everybody? Don't talk over my intro.
listen. Nobody
Look,
wants to hear
listen,
that voice.
listen. What's up, everybody? This is the second episode of the OGs or
Number
the
two.
Opinionated Gamers number 2. I'm Hitmanbk, also known as Brian. That I introduced myself in the first one, so I'm not going to introduce myself every time to y'all. But in case you don't know, I stream on YouTube, full-time dad, full-time employee, full-time, full of awesome. And I'm here with the one and only Freddy. Freddy,
Yes,
who are you?
sir. I am the original Hitman, Hitman
Mm,
FQ.
whatever, dude. Okay,
And
we came up with these in high school, so there is
yeah,
no original.
and I'm a full-time project manager, dad, husband, an entrepreneur, and I
That's a big
uh,
word.
entrepreneur. My wife used to call call me handsome boy entrepreneur.
Handsome boy entrepreneur. Okay.
Yeah, and I play. I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore gamer. I mean, I used to be. I just don't have the time. So I'm as
You're a
you
hardcore
know,
consumer of knowledge.
yes, knowledge, and I play the games that I like and the
He
types of games
does.
I
He
like.
does.
So
And he stays on top of
um,
trends, and he's just a good guy to talk to. And as you realize probably from the first episode. So everybody come on in, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Okay. All right, look. Well, there's a slight pause there for anyone listening because I have a video and I put a thing on it. So don't get mad at me. We have to start this. I think we did the first episode. We had a couple of listens because people like to hear our angelic voices. But some things I noticed in the comments, I saw your face. Some things I noticed in the comments, people were really interested, I think, in hearing more about this fathers being dad, being a full-time dad and playing games, which is interesting because it changes everything about gaming. We have a couple people in our Discord who are dads. Freddy is a new dad. I have 2 children. And I think it's an interesting space. But you being the brand new dad, I want to hear from you on what you think. Honestly, not only about like just gaming and being a dad, but like what changed in your life, especially like when we're thinking of, because what is gaming, right? Gaming is like essentially like something we do personally for ourselves, right? It's like entertainment value. So like in that personal realm for you, like, yeah, what's that? How's it like being a dad now, Freddie? Welcome, by the way. 6 months in, right?
seven
Ooh,
months in.
7 months in.
Yeah, she is.
The
She's
bags are
been born.
starting to form. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's about right.
you say, woo. Um, no, man. I mean, it's obviously I love being a dad. She's phenomenal and the best thing I've ever made. But
You
yeah,
didn't make her,
prior
all right? You just provided some DNA.
to whatever, I was part of the process. All right. Um, no, I mean, like at the end of the day, like gaming's always been part of my life since the original NES, and I game everywhere I go. I mean, it's just one of the things that is a constant. And then when you have a kid, and especially my kid was in NICU for 6 weeks. So
Yeah, she was in there for a while.
yeah, and so I had a Switch at that point, and I was playing with the Switch, and I had a Series S with me that I took to the hospital because my wife's at the hospital too. So gaming to me is an escape, and it's one of those things that like challenges you and gives you time away. But sometimes you have to set your priorities, right? Like for me, like last this week, yes, when was I don't remember, Friday, when we were like, hey, I need help with Remnant. We're gonna set up some time to play, and
Oh
then we
yeah.
set it
And
up.
then I was
And
on. I was like,
then,
"Let's do this." And you're like, "1 second." And then Freddie was gone.
yeah, I mean that's just the priorities are different when you're married and you have kids, and we had a blast yesterday. We played yesterday and it was a lot of fun, but it's not the end all be all. It's not like when we were in high school or even
Right.
college, right? You play video games to have fun, but you set your priorities. I am in awe of you, sir, because I remember when you had a kid like early on, your first one, you were playing no less than 40 hours a week, and I'm just like, how how, how are you
I had the baby like
divorced?
on my chest. She was just chilling there, and I was playing a hell of a lot of Destiny. Is what it was, because that's
Yeah,
when. That is when. Oh, was it? Was that when Kay died? I can't even remember now. I
it,
think.
probably.
I
I
think it
mean, we probably
was. I think it was like a really big Destiny DLC. And at the time, y'all, I was so deep into Destiny. I couldn't come up for air if my life depended on it. So I
yeah,
just put the baby
it
on the
was
chest, bro.
a diehard. Yeah, but I mean, I just don't, between the bottles and the diaper changes and like
I'd be
trying to
like,
get him to
bottle,
sleep.
baby, controller.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I was just like, "How are you doing this?" And without being neglected, like neglecting your kids, right? Because I mean, they're
There
gonna
was a lot of neglecting going on. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that, but seriously, maybe a little bit.
just a little bit, yeah. So like, and to me, like gaming's a reward for a good day. That's how I approach things. Like even drinking. Well, if I'm gonna go drink, it's because I did something awesome, which I usually do. I'm an awesome person,
On the
but
daily, on the daily.
on the daily. Um, Yeah, and it's and we have two like that also. I mean, I you still play a good amount, but you set your times, right? You have a very
Yeah.
specific schedule. So I think that's kind of where I'm still learning, right? And she's so young still, right? Like when she hits one and she gets more than 2 hours of sleep at a time, then you have a little bit more time to be okay. I feel good. I'm gonna play 4 hours of video game. After like an hour, I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go to bed.
I just took on the bags like earlier. I was like, you know what? Who needs sleep? And that's pretty much how I do it still today. I mean, if anybody was ever even wondering, like, because they probably don't. I mean, I actually got called a YouTuber, which is kind of funny by a guy. He's like, you're just a YouTuber. What do you know? And I'm like, bruh, I'm like a part-time YouTuber.
Get
But,
that.
all of it is just, I mean, I don't sleep. So I don't necessarily know if my way is the right way. But for me, like I mean, like it's a bit different for me. Video games or a like a like a no cross zone, I guess. Is that the right word? Like they weren't
No
gonna
fly
go
zone.
away. There's no fly zone. Like it was gonna happen regardless. It was either video games or I'm a horrible person to be around. Like it's pretty much like my way of like decompressing.
It can be both.
It can be both. I can pretty much still be a horrible person to be around and play
Well,
video games.
and I remember that early on, even in college, with your spouse, you said, "Hey, these are things that I need
Yeah.
to do. These are my times." And I obviously said, "This is not gonna last. There's no way any woman is gonna let this bro to play 40 hours a week."
I
And
don't
lo
play
and behold,
40 hours a week.
bro, you play at least 40
I
hours a week.
play at least okay, probably close to that. I mean, in 7 days, yeah, I think I average like 3, 4 hours a day.
Yeah, so I mean, and I think that that's great. You have a partner that supports you in that and doesn't, you guys have your own deal and an agreement, and I think that's great. I mean, that's awesome. And you set it
Yeah,
up,
but see,
early on.
that goes into everything. That's what I'm saying. When we look beyond games, like you're still doing, like, I mean, like, what is she did? Has your daughter cut into any? He has a girl, by the way. Has your daughter? I have two girls, so pray for me. Has your daughter cut into anything like you do, like you were doing before, or do you find it like basically the way I was playing games is probably the same way you watch your shows with Mara? You just stick her on your lap and you watch a show.
Yeah, but then my daughter is super active. So the second she sees a control, I tried that, Brian. Trust me, I tried that. I'm like, hey, you know what? I have all the consoles. I have like two Xboxes and a PlayStation and whatever. So I put the I took the X from the gaming room and I put it in the living room. I'm like, I'm just gonna play video games. I'm just like, just not. And then so I have her in my chest and she looks and she's like, what is this? And she's just like, just hitting it with her hands. And then I was like, okay, cool. So no competitive games. Let's see if I can just play like
Yeah.
a football game. And then then she starts kicking and like twerking and whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, this is not
Then
fun.
you just gotta kind of give up, man.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. But again, I wouldn't change anything. I love her to death, and she's the funniest person. She's so happy. So especially when you see those smiles, and on top of that, like I make my wife jealous just because every time a baby even hears my voice, my deep booming
Dada.
voice, she's like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And just big
That's awesome.
smiles. So yeah, so I'm
So you gonna
it's
raise a
it's
gamer
difficult.
or? or what?
I'm gonna let her decide. She's gonna see me play video games all the time, so I'm gonna, if she likes it, great. But I know she's gonna be a Harvard graduate and then become
There
an
you go.
NFL kicker. So
And
NFL
did you
kicker,
just say an NFL kicker? Oh my God,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
just hype.
I
Just
think I feel like the moral of the story essentially, I mean, like, there is no like ultra word of wisdom one can give to fellow fathers who are also gamers. There's a lot of people. We have a great community member who both him and his wife game, and then their kid plays games. I mean, it's you. I think the moral is no matter what you're doing, you shouldn't feel ashamed for what it is you're doing. If you're finding the joy in it, and you're still just being a solid parent, while at the same time, put your kids, put your family first. You've heard it from Freddy. You've seen it from me in some of my videos. Like, I mean, I pretty much will try not to record or even stream unless my daughter's asleep, because kids deserve your attention, and you also deserve time for yourself. So you just got to find ways to bake it in. Be that video games, be that movies, be that working out, whatever it is. Inevitably, trust me, you can find the time. It's just a matter of professional scheduling, and deciding where and when you're going to take your naps if you're that kind of person. That's what I think, at
yeah.
least.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. I think just setting, I'm a project manager, so I manage my time, and I also I want to spend time with my wife, and I want to make a correction from the first video. My wife doesn't make me watch shows.
Yes, she does. He's
I
scared. He got in trouble. He's trying to
I
backtrack.
enjoy
She
watching.
might be listening to this. Luckily, my wife does not listen. If she does, Stacey, I love you.
So I just want to make it clear that I enjoy watching movies with my wife. She doesn't force
Why
me.
don't you
There's no
just address the camera and, like, who are we talking to right now? Babe,
honey.
look, listen.
Look, it's real. All right. I love sitting there and
Oh
watching
God.
your Grace and Frankie. It's the best
Oh, that's a
show.
great show. And by that I mean absolutely terrible. I don't watch it.
He loves
Okay,
that
look.
and Lucifer. That's like, anyways.
Lucifer actually is really good.
Yeah.
I want to see Good Omens too. I saw that just came out because I
Good
enjoyed the
Omens
first Good Omens,
too.
which was an Amazon show. You don't know
Oh,
it? The one with
no.
the two angels that are like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The conflict. Yeah, I
they're like
remember
British or whatever.
I
Yeah.
saw like the trailer and I was like, a bunch of British people, get out of here. So
Oh my God. For anyone
that
listening from the UK, that was
shout out to Tane.
shout out to Tane. Okay, well, we'll
Um,
move on from this conversation. I have a question. I have a question for you. So this was brought up in, I created a video recently that got all of like 100 views, but it got one comment in particular. Oh, that might be for the kid, y'all. He just stood up and he's walked away. Could be baby crying. I don't know if he can still hear me. So until he comes back, oh, and he's back. Oh Jesus, he knows where I'm going with this. He brought the Xbox S out and he's cradling it like a child. I had a viewer comment on a video because I made a video. It was not dogging the S, but I was essentially bringing the question of whether or not the Xbox Series S was holding the Xbox Series X back. And that question came from a couple of things. For anyone who's about to flame me, Baldur's Gate 3 is out. It's a huge game. They made an interesting tweet talking about how it's coming out on the PlayStation 5 in September, but it's not coming on Xbox because there's a parity clause in Xbox's contracts, and in order for them to meet that clause, they have to do some more work on the S. So that was kind of like one of the first times we've ever seen a developer straight up just say, like, you guys aren't, people on the Xbox Series X are not getting this game because we need to do some work on the Xbox Series S. And that just brought me to the question of, like, well, it's interesting. Like, and we are starting to see a lot of games now move away from previous gen, go only next gen. And some of these games are playing obviously really well on PlayStation 5, on PC, on Series X, but they don't end up not playing so well on the S, which is making me wonder, Freddy, take your S and stick it in the dumpster.
listen, I'm just gonna start off with
Don't you
saying,
listen me. I
look,
just need
listen, Pod, listen. The Series S is a phenomenal value, and let me finish.
we
I
are
know
not
you're gonna,
sponsored. All right, bro.
no, I know, but I just for the price point and what it can do and the mobility, man. Like this thing, I can carry in one hand. The PlayStation, I need a small cargo plane to take. It's a
The
massive
PlayStation is
boat,
a smart cargo plane. Have you heard that thing when it really kicks on?
dude. It's
Holy
like
crap.
yeah, and then even the X is like super heavy. So when I
Yeah.
was at the hospital, I brought this little sucker with me, and I was able to play my games. And so, okay, is it underpowered? Yes, but I'm gonna tell you this, and this is like the honest truth. If Xbox was the leading platform and not PlayStation, I guarantee you parity wouldn't be an issue because they'll figure it out a way. But since Xbox is not, right, then why would you? I mean, and also for this developer, it makes a ton of sense to go PlayStation first anyway, because they have more platforms available to them and there's no competition on their end until well after Starfield. So like it makes a ton of sense to not spend as much time on Xbox and wait until Starfield is out and about and then boom, release it and make a ton of money. Like it's to me it makes sense. And not take away that the specs on this thing is not world tier, right? The biggest downfall for this is the RAM. 8 gigs of RAM available. I think they just said that they're gonna Xbox did
This
a
is virtual
release
RAM, right? You mean like
the
VRAM?
VRAM. Well,
Yeah.
it's no, the total system RAM
No, total
is
system RAM.
10 gigs, right? 10 gigs, and 8 gigs was only allowed for
Yeah,
gaming.
which is like
Xbox,
nothing.
right? Xbox did put out a patch to let developers, not patch, new kit to let them use the additional 2 gigs. But I mean, the split and the parity thing, I can understand too because it's the split screen, right? Like that's the issue. It's always been an issue with the S is it doesn't have enough VRAM to support proper non-glitchy uh, the split screen. I mean, it was similar to what was that exclusive that was like dual screen, like the top and bottom had two different, like you're
It
walking,
takes
but it,
two.
no. It's like is
Oh,
it
you talking about the indie one?
the indie one that
Like
Xbox
when
did,
you're in
right?
prison, right? That is was the first game by It Takes Two. I think I forgot the name of it.
No. I'm talking about the
Oh,
one specifically that was launched on Series X and S, where like you're it's a horror puzzle
oh,
game.
Until Dawn.
Is it Until Dawn? Is that what it was?
I mean, there's a bunch of them, but yeah, I
Well,
think you're
it's the
talking.
one where like it's there you play and then while you move, you're moving through the same level, but in like the underworld and the real world. And anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh no, you're. I know what you're talking about.
I can't
That was
remember
the
the name of it.
exclusive that eventually came to PlayStation,
PlayStation.
where like
Correct.
essentially they layer two worlds on top of each other.
Yeah.
It's like a Silent Hill-esque game. I cannot remember the name of it either, but it didn't end
Right.
up not doing very well.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was there's no like it's just running and
Yeah,
pivoting. There's no real attack, but that game was able to run on the console, and that is, I mean, that is super difficult. So if we ran on S, I think that if a developer spent the time, it could work. It just takes more development time. And so, does the Xbox Series S make it more difficult for developers to create a game on par with Sony? After great thought and research, yes. The answer is yes.
yeah, that's what I thought. Punk.
Listen, I still love the thing. All right, I don't care. It's
I never
for
said
what
I
it
didn't
does.
like it. I
You
just
said
said
put it in
that.
a dumpster. Listen, you said put it in a dumpster. How dare you?
I mean,
How
I
dare
wouldn't
you?
play games on it.
You have one in your
I
living
do.
room, so.
I use it for streaming though.
And you play video games because I know your daughter plays on there. So
She
let's
does. She does. It's a
okay.
nice. I'm not saying it's not a bad box. I'm just saying. I mean, really, my question was it a bad decision to make it? But I guess the answer to that's probably. I mean, obviously, it's a no. It's never a bad decision to make an affordable box tied to Game Pass to give people access to a plethora of content. But without a doubt, like you, I mean, all of this too also comes back to the very question that I can't stand, and it pisses me off, and I know it pisses off a lot of other people too. And this is the fault on both ends. But like this whole generation was built on this giant lie of 4K 60 FPS gaming, which I'm sure people are just like, I mean, rightly so peeved that Starfield is going to be 30 FPS locked. I mean, we kind of already talked on this, but it's important to say, like, that's a huge first party title that's not going to run at the promised 60 FPS. Lord knows how it's going to run on the S. We'll find out, I guess.
I
But
mean,
like,
they're like really saying how it runs well on yes. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it was all a lie, right? Like you look at I just saw that. I remember looking at my
oh yeah, you were looking at the box, right?
the box for the PlayStation 5 and it says 8K 120. I'm like, 8K? Yeah, right. Like there's no you can like Final Fantasy dips to 720. Like, come on.
Right.
Like, let's
Lords of
be
the
and that's
Fallen, 1080p.
1080p for 60. Like, that's insane. Like, what? So maybe it's a developer issue, but I think it's the hardware wasn't developed for Unreal Engine, right? Unreal Engine is a beast. It's beautiful, right? Like the content is beautiful, but it's probably going to be a refresh necessary for us to actually see proper, beautiful, like real time 4K 60 without any compromise, right? I mean, I
Okay,
just don't
so
see it.
should console gamers then like just get rid of I mean, like, maybe the marketing to console gamers is just wrong. I mean, I was a console gamer. Let me just say this right now, y'all. I was a console gamer for way longer than I was a PC gamer. I since moved to PC because of my frustration with consoles. I mean, I'm a weirdo who cares about like max graphics, and then when I started really pushing into frames, I get the question of like, well, does the 60 FPS really make a difference? Yes, it does. And then when you go above 60 FPS and you're in like the hundreds and you're playing Call of Duty, any type of shooter or any
Any
fast-paced
competitive
game,
game.
I
Yeah,
mean, if you're
competitive game.
playing any game, honestly, like, and you go to 30, you're gonna be like, "What is this doo doo?" And once that happened, like, I moved to PC because, like, I just don't. I mean, like, should console gamers just like, I don't know, get rid themselves of the hope of 4K 60 FPS and frames and more lean back into like just really solid experiences and RPGs and enjoy the fact that you have this wonderful box you can take around with you everywhere and play almost 80, 90% of all games.
Look, at the end of the day, most competitive gamers play at 1440, right? 1440 at
Well,
60
they were playing
plus.
at 1080 for a really long time.
No, I know. So like,
But yeah,
I don't think
1440p is
yeah, I don't think 4K is the end all be all, and I think 8K is the. I mean, you don't what? No, I think here's the thing, right? Like the other side of this is for 499, you get to get a all-encompassing gaming system that doesn't cost. That's the entry point, right? For a PC, you have to buy the PC and then buy a video card, or if you buy a PC
well,
with a video
that's
card,
for Series X too, right? For because it's 299 for that tiny little piece of poop you got
right?
next to you.
249 now, but
249. All right,
yeah,
I'm
but
done calling it poop. It actually is a good console.
it's a great console. I love the thing. I mean, honestly, the best feature Xbox has is that quick resume, like
The
four or
quick
five
resume, yeah.
games. Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. But and that's called direct storage. But the entry point is just amazing. Even at the high end, 499, right? Of your video card in your computer
Oh yeah,
costs almost double, right?
yeah.
Like it's like $800. So it's not really reasonable to expect everybody to be a PC gamer and having all these high end video cards. So granted, it's 499 and the promise was 4K 120 or 4K 60 or 1440p with VVR, whatever, right? Like, I just think that I think it was 1 or 2 years early for a console. I think once, if Unreal 5 came out and was in like people's hands with developers, maybe PlayStation and Xbox might have maybe beefed up the GPU and the CPU a little bit more, or maybe pivoted away from AMD. I love AMD. AMD, don't get mad, but like, you know, AMD doesn't have that DLSS, which is a game changer for PC gaming. Like, or the AI, what is it called? AI,
The frame generation. They're
yeah, frame
working on something
generation.
though. I think like FSR. I don't know. I don't
I know
know
they're
enough
making
about the
FSR
tech to know
2.0 or RDNA 2, all that stuff. Like,
RDNA. That's what it is. Yeah.
yeah, once all that stuff kicks in, but I think it's just gonna take. I don't know, man. It's gonna take
So next
years.
generation cycle, do they make another S? I mean,
Oh, I think they make for sure. I think look, at the end of the day, if Xbox was a leader in the field, the S would be the best selling console on the planet because all the additional content. Now we'll see how it comes out in 2 years, right? They're gonna come out with I'm sure they're gonna come out with a
yeah,
Series
next another
S
gen. Yeah.
Pro or whatever that's gonna be exactly same because I think the form factors, the size of this thing, I mean, and the weight and it's perfect. So I think if they come out with this the same specs, smaller dies. I think not the same specs as the Xbox Series X, and then go with the Pro, and with all the content, the 500 million studios that Xbox has. I mean, Game Pass with the Series S it would be a massive win for everybody. I mean, literally around the world, you get for 299 or 249 or whatever it is, you get that, and then $15 a month, you get full access to thousands of games, a bunch of AAA games, and then also EA games, right? Like the EA part is like a
No, the EA
big
parts,
big
yeah,
win.
tied to it. Isn't
Yeah, so
Ubisoft? No, it's not. You have to pay for Ubisoft.
you have to, yeah, it's separate unless Microsoft buys them, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. You never know.
But
Assuming they start making games though, because I'll still die on the hill that if you only can afford one console, you're gonna buy a PlayStation because that's where the best games are. The best
best
exclusive games.
best narrative games are, yes.
Yes, the
They
best
don't have,
narrative exclusive genre defining games are on.
yeah,
Don't you
but
roll your eyeballs at me. I'll come over there and pluck them out of your forehead. That's the
look,
truth, and you know it, dude.
to me, the best if you're gonna buy a video game console, to me, it depends on if you're a casual. If you're a casual, I think the problem with the Sony model of like these just narrative games is it's a one and done, maybe two and done, right? Like you're not gonna replay it
Well,
like
if you're a casual,
Fortnite
you're
or
on them for forever then though. Like if
not
you're a
really.
casual
It's
gamer
10
looking
hours.
for like big
And
games, do you pass up a PlayStation and playing like if you're a huge Marvel fan and playing Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 or the Wolverine game?
but Wolverine is like who knows when that's gonna come out,
It'll be
right?
good. It's Insomniac. They've never made a dud. I'm
I'm not
just
saying it's
saying,
not
like,
gonna
how
be
do you
good.
compete against that?
Well, you buy every studio under the planet and save. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
look,
but
at the end
where
of
are
the
the
day,
games, dude? I mean, like
well,
they're coming. They're coming.
yeah, but it takes 4 to 5 years, dude. I mean,
They
like,
do.
look
Well,
at
they're also leaning
totally
into RPGs though, so they're not even actually
hard.
trying to really compete in that market. They're going RPG market.
Yeah, but even if Sony stopped, like, look, Sony's pivoting. Why would Sony pivot from story-driven narrative games to gaming as a service, right? Like,
Well,
well,
yeah, I don't want to talk about
I know.
that.
I'm just saying, like, if they're pivoting, that means either they're not happy with the profit margins on these narrative games and their longevity, right? Like Call of Duty, long term is gonna make it's
Well,
prints
right. There's
money,
no longevity in they're like the original. No one's buying Spider-Man right now.
right?
I
I
mean, I
mean,
bet the amount of players playing it's really low.
I'm sure it is, and it's been out. I mean, all these games are phenomenal games, great studios, but that's why they're trying to take those phenomenal IPs and make gaming as a service platforms for them because it's already popular. If you can make something that's popular as well
Right,
and
you make money on it. Yeah.
prints money, then yeah. So
Turn us all into shills. Dirty
I mean,
bastards.
Fortnite's been the same game and still just prints
Well,
money. And
they completely change it though every season.
right, and they listen to the community and they're like, hey, can
Right.
you make things where we don't have to build these ridiculous towers of like
Oh
crap.
yeah, the no build, but I cannot play Fortnite building. I don't know how. That's a 12-year-old man's game. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But
So
okay, then you were telling me then you think for only the only way then for PlayStation to actually like continue this trend is to push into PC.
I think honestly, look, if you're gonna stick with I mean, they're already doing it, right? They bought Bungie, and Bungie's is owned by Sony, but they're doing their own thing, kind of, and they're doing a multi-plat release of Marathon, right?
Right.
Especially if you're doing gaming as a service, I don't think you survive. Especially if you're trying to do 5 or 10 over the next 5 or 10 years, it has to be multi-plat at the very least on PC and on your console.
Or at least have
But
control over it because like what was The Last of Us? It was like a disaster.
well, The Last of Us has been they made the first one. The Last of Us had a multiplayer that came out. I don't remember
No,
when.
I mean like the PC version. Like these
Oh
ports that
yeah,
are coming
well,
over are like
Hooper,
yeesh.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, why is nobody
So why
buying
not
these
just
games?
develop like side by side, I
Well,
guess.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, complete parity, build it from the ground up for PC, and release a day and date. You'll make boatloads of money. People
Okay,
love
that
those
actually
games.
reminds me of something I didn't ask you. And I was curious because you know more about this than I do because you're more of a tech person.
I
I
am.
was seeing there's some games even coming out like god, maybe Forspoken was one of them because that released on PlayStation. Um I think Lords of the Fallen. Okay, anyways, my question is, especially with PlayStation games, like not only are specs on PC based on your GPU and your CPU, but now people are almost saying like requires an SSD. Like, you think is this because of the direct storage? Like, what's going on? Like, I was curious. I don't even know if you have an answer to this, but like,
No,
it's
I
weird to
do.
see like, well, you better have a damn fast hard drive or this game's not gonna play.
Well, okay, so the Ratchet and Clank debacle because the studio, I think they walked it back, but basically the studio said this game could only work because of the PlayStation special hard drive. And then somebody took a PS4. and put a spinning 5400 disc in it, and it was basically unplayable. Like it played until you had to do the transitions. But when you do 7200 RPM hard drives, it was very functional. It worked. I mean, it wasn't polished, right? Because it wasn't made for those types of hardware. But it ran, and it was the delays between worlds was minimal. Now you go with the regular SSD anyway, like any type of SSD, not the Sony one, it works flawlessly. So, I mean, I don't think because Starfield doesn't require a SSD. I think an SSD requirement maybe I mean, even the requirements on PC for Ratchet and Clank doesn't say it requires an SSD. It just says it's recommended.
And
So
that's just for loading.
yeah, it's basically asset loading, right? So basically those transitions between, you played the game, right? So
Oh
those
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. You're talking about like how there are none, like in Ratchet. You're just in.
right. So basically that little warp, that 3-4 seconds, they load all the content for that level, and if you're going through it, you played the game, it's not very long. You're not in that
No, it's
world for
not.
very long. So you're loading all those assets, and while you're there, it's already loaded. While you're there to transition to the third part, it's already loading during that part because it's all you're
Mm.
doing is really moving left and right. You're not really doing a whole lot. So
Okay, well, if
the
consoles are going to continue pushing the like essentially creating more consoles, future consoles are going to have fast hard drives. Is it something like if you're a PC player too, you should just go ahead and start investing in VMEs and
Oh
SSDs?
yeah, I mean, it's for generally the price has dropped significantly, and the performance improvement across the board for any type of game is going to be better, right?
Yeah,
Like
I mean
even
it's
my
great for
old,
editing too. I mean I do it because like as an
oh
editor,
yeah,
it's like oh my god, it's incredible.
I told you I was like, hey, you're like, oh, you're doing it. Your our buddy Thomas was like, yeah, I'm exporting to a external hard drive. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
that's oof. And then I was like, hey, try this, and he did it, and he's like, dude, I owe you my
Yeah,
life.
it
Like,
changes everything. It's almost like it's almost like getting an HD to 4K or a 60 FPS. Like there's just some things in tech that once you see it, you really will you won't be able to go back. And then and that honestly is a great wrap on this because that leads right back into I get it. I get the frustrations for Xbox and PlayStation, and it's why I went PC. Because once you see 60, you don't want to go back. So it definitely sucks that Starfield and you see some games that are just coming in lock 30. Hopefully, Series X and people will get patches that will give them that 60. On PC, I'll just let you know I'll be kicking back, taking in those delicious frames. So
let me before we get off, let me ask you: would you rather have a game that runs at 1080p at 60 or 120, or a game that runs at 4K, perfect fidelity, beautiful game, but at 30?
1080, 60.
So that's kind of the compromise. Would be like, hey, we have to
It can.
downscale,
I guarantee you that game can play 1440p 60. I guarantee it
probably,
on the
but
Series X.
the problem with that though is not TVs don't support that resolution. Not a lot of TVs do,
No,
unless
I
you have
mean
a
like
really
use
high end.
1440p and then checkerboarding or whatever tech there is in the Xbox to up convert to 4K.
I mean, I'm sure they can do that. I think Xbox has this weird Xbox doesn't do almost any for the most part from what I understand. They don't do any kind of upscaling that much compared to like PlayStation does the checkerboard since
Man,
the
I never
chicken.
see it. That's the thing. The games are gorgeous, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Just lean into it. You know what? If you're listening to this, put in the comments. Would you rather play Starfield 1080 or even 1440 at 60 on your Series X, or do you want the 4K deliciousness on your probably 32-inch screen that you're never going to see? I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying the average amount of people out there probably aren't rocking some 70-inch screen who's going to notice this at 30. What do you want? Because I want to hear it. I want to know.
I think the overwhelming majority would say, "Give me the frames at 1440, and I'd be happy." I mean,
Yes,
and
I
then
think they would too.
upscale.
So
But
Microsoft, listen. Hashtag
listen,
not sponsored. Listen, Microsoft.
Microsoft, do the right thing.
Do the right
Okay.
thing. Put Starfield at 60, and it better play at 60 on my PC, or I swear to God, I'm going to set it on fire. Speaking of games, there was something you were telling me about Modern Warfare before this started, because I have not
Oh
kept up
yeah.
at all with any of the Call of Duty news.
So I mean, they're making a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 that's coming out in
Right.
like November 17th. And I
Didn't
was
we
like,
just get two, though? I'm so confused.
So
Was the last one that came out not Modern Warfare?
no, it was. So this is I, I don't know the details. I don't know why. I haven't really dug into it too much,
Okay,
but
because
all
I
I
thought
know
we
is
skipped a year usually.
usually it's like 2 years or a year
Or
and a
yeah.
half, or it's a different studio, but it's the same studio,
Okay,
right?
so
It's
it's Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward, and it's essentially it's like a almost like a DLC.
Oh,
It's an extension of the story, and the price point. And it's not. I mean, I haven't seen it in their like on their websites, but everywhere I've read, $37.99. So
37. So is this going to be essentially like a campaign? That's it? Maybe with some new
yeah,
maps and stuff,
well,
but
it's campaign, and then I think they're adding a bunch of older maps from Modern Warfare 3, the original Modern Warfare 3.
ah.
So it's
Okay,
a
that actually
remaster
would
of
be
those.
really cool.
For that price point, I think that's
What if
perfect.
that's what they do moving forward? Oh my God. Now that you've told me this, like that would be, you want to talk about a good future for Call of Duty? Like take the Destiny approach. I relate everything to Destiny. Oh, I apologize. But like seriously, if you took the Destiny approach where you just like Modern Warfare was just launched, right? And then they switch it up and it's every 2 years because maybe they do like Black Ops, but instead of a brand new game, it's just like, hey, here's $30. Here's the new campaign and a bunch of maps. People would like, oh my God, you want to talk like, and you never actually have to leave the ecosystem, so you keep all your
Right.
rewards, you keep all of your skins. Like
Well, that's what it is, right? So any
it's like a Fortnite
weapons or
approach.
gear or anything you got from Modern Warfare 2 will transfer over to Modern Warfare 3. So I don't know if
Oh
there's going to be a
man,
new
that
war
actually
zone
could
or
be
anything like
very
that.
successful. I would actually
I think so.
probably keep up with that. I would be like, oh sure, yeah, I'll throw 30 and play the new campaign because I love the campaigns anyways.
Yeah, the campaigns are great. I mean, the
I've always
multiplayer
said
just
with
gets.
games like that too, they should just sell the damn campaign separate. Like I would be like, yeah, I'll buy the campaign because I'm probably not going to play this multiplayer.
Yeah, but you do play the multiplayer
Ah,
every
yeah, I
time.
do a little bit. That's
Every
because you
time.
bug me, and then I get on. It's not true at all. It's
So
usually me. It's usually okay. Look, I take it back. I take it
no,
back.
no, 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 no.
If
Listen,
Thomas is listening to this too, he's probably he's always like late to the game. We have a buddy who like I swear to God we like tell him how good things are, and then he does it like really late, and now he's all like, dude, DMC is so good, and I'm like, bro, I've like stopped playing Call of Duty like months ago. Like where were you when we were on it?
yeah, we kept telling him, but let me tell you something. So
No, we're not going into this. Stop it.
Listen,
No.
Vanguard, which is a terrible Call of Duty. I was like, dude, it looks bad. He's like, oh, no, it's so good, it's so good. And then like, I was like, I'm not buying it. He's like, well, I'll just buy it for you. I'm like, well, okay. And we buy it
We
and we
played it for
play
like
it
a month.
for a month, and then
Maybe.
now, and
That's fine.
I was still playing, and I was like, yeah, it's not terrible. And he's like, it's
I
the
was
worst
gone.
Call of Duty ever.
That's
Like,
like my
it's just,
shell life for Call of Duty. I'm on it. I got the campaign. I'm like the first season, maybe part of the second season, and then I'm out.
yeah, I think the second season's always
Well, it
the
also
drop off.
starts getting sweatier. Like the
Yeah.
casuals start leaving, they start playing like other games, or we do decent enough that we're just end up throwing into games where
So
like all of a sudden
yeah.
I'm just dying all the time, and then that's when I like fall off. I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Well, also like the new whatever battle pass has these
The
guns that
battle,
you can only
yeah,
get, and they're
right,
like one shot, like the million mile what was it called, the million mile shotgun or whatever, where you
yeah.
can shoot it from like across the freaking map and kill somebody. So it's I think they get their
Okay,
money's
well,
worth.
I
And
mean, I'm a hyper. I can't help it that I'm a game hyper. I do that sometimes. So
what about the Madden? What do you think about the new Madden? Have you thought
the new
about it at
Madden,
all?
oh, I haven't even gave it 2 cents of thought. Like from what I've seen on a quick Google before this podcast, is people saying the make it or break it year, and they break it. It's just more of the same. Tim the Tatman was like gonna play it. I was trying to watch him, but he was just like BSing with chat before we started this, so I didn't get to see it. I have a feeling the game's gonna probably end up in sixes or sevens. It doesn't seem. I do not think they know what they're doing. I do not think the Frostbite engine should be used on everything. I mean, all of that to be said, I don't want to sit here and dog EA. I like EA originals. You got Immortals of Avium coming out. Actually,
Yep.
this is already going to be out, possibly. I think. It's on the 22nd. This podcast, what? I'm gonna peer into the future, y'all, because obviously we record this before is going out on the 18th, so it will be out in about 4 days when this podcast is out. That looks really cool, first person esque shooter magic shenanigans. I mean, in the shooter realm, if they're using, I don't know if they're using Frostbite in that or not. I'm gonna assume they are because it's EA. But like that
Yeah.
engine is great in shooters, and it's dog crap in sports games. I mean, people love FIFA. Maybe it works in that. I don't know. I think I think this Madden needs to fail hard, and we need something fresh.
We need 2K back.
We need 2K
2K.
back, dude. We really
but
do.
I'm gonna play Matt. I just downloaded the early access. So I'll play
Did
it.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I might play it, make a little video, and send it to you, and
On
be like, "Hey, look,
PC or
on PC." Yeah,
okay. Our other
it's
friend
on.
who we used to play franchise with all the time has swapped his life over to PlayStation for some reason. And he bought it on PlayStation, like texting me. He's like, I bought it on PlayStation. I was like, good for you.
Yeah, like
I will say the new Madden is crossplay. If you are on PC, you do get the console version of the Madden for the first time. They used to be a year behind. So if you're on PC, you will get the full version, but you will not be able to play franchise mode crossplay. I do not know why, but that is the only mode you cannot play crossplay.
okay. Yeah, I mean,
Which pretty
we've
much
always
neuters our ability to play with him because that's all we play.
right. No, I mean, and sometimes we buy the game, sometimes we just wait until it gets released
Yeah.
on Game Pass.
Madden is just, I don't know, it's
It's
like a wet
fun, and then
fart.
it's not. What? A wet? That's called a
I don't know,
shard.
dude. I just don't, it
What
doesn't
about
do
what about
anything
the
for me.
what about NCAA? The new one's coming out. You haven't played
I don't play
NCAA?
any sports games anymore.
Yeah, but do you remember the memories from college?
I
We
do.
had
I
a
remember
drinking
Madden
game.
Drinkum. That
Yeah.
was like fun. Like those sports games are really fun in a group to me. Like those are like games you get together with your buds and you play with. Like solo, they're just not. They're just not for me. Not to say that they're bad, but they're just not for me. I'm sure the new NCAA is going to do great. That usually does good,
No,
right? MLB does good. FIFA does good.
yeah, MLB's made the one that's so it's funny because like Madden makes a like the football game, and then 2K makes the basketball game, and
Yeah,
then Sony really makes the baseball game, right? Those are the three different
but
places.
that's why I'm hoping
Um,
Madden like craps the bed. Like because they really. I mean, I just don't think it's.
there's no
You're in the
comp.
same boat as me. Like they haven't really changed anything. Like it's
I,
still.
I think the thing is they rely on the fanhood of those teams, right? Like you're not a big football person in general, right? Like you like football,
No,
you'll
I'm.
watch it,
Yeah,
but
I don't. Yeah, I do the
yeah, but like if
fantasy
you
football stuff. That's about it.
yeah, but if you're like a diehard Bears fan like me, then I'm going to play franchise as a Bears, because I get to play as Justin Fields and throwing
Right.
it to DJ Moore. Or like if you're a Dallas fan and you want to play, I mean, it gives
And
you
you want to
that.
win a Super Bowl, you got to load up Madden.
Yeah, that's
I am
the
a
only way
Dallas
Dallas
fan.
is gonna
Okay,
win.
y'all. Just because I am. I am one. But I'm gonna admit, it's the only way you're gonna win a Super Bowl is you got to load up Madden.
Yeah, so I mean,
I don't know.
I've always had fun. It's just not. It's not the longevity of it doesn't last
You'll have to let
on
me
PC.
know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Are
I
you
might
gonna play
actually.
Immortals?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna play it. I'll give it an hour to see how it
Yeah.
feels, and then because originally that is what I thought
About.
Avowed was gonna look like, and then they came out with like some cartoon stuff, and I'm like,
Hmm.
interesting.
Hmm.
This looks like nothing like the trailer.
What are you
Um,
thinking about Remnant 2? You just started playing it.
oh, it's fun. It's wild because there's so many secrets, and I just like I play with these guys, and they're so far ranked. They're just like melting everybody, and I'm just
Oh,
getting
I
all this
know.
gear. I went from like no gear to too much gear, and I'm trying to figure out like what is all this stuff. But no,
That's
it's a lot
actually.
of
I
fun.
want to actually. I want to. We have like a few minutes, so you can do this really quickly. I'm gonna bring this up on the next podcast.
Okay.
So when we start off, maybe we'll start every podcast off with like some dad advice. But as a new dad, and you're playing Remnant 2, all right, you've played Destiny, you've played Division. Like, are those games that you even like gravitate to, or is it only because I tell you? Because you're just like, there's just no way. I just don't have the time to put the investment in to get what's even Diablo 4. Like, what are your like top level thoughts on that? Maybe we'll continue this on the next one.
I will say this: I'm a little torn because the seasons kind of mess things up, right? Because you're all that development that you just did is gone out the door, right? So like if you're not able to play maybe once, twice, 3 times a week for a couple hours at a time, and the new season comes and all that gear, all that stuff that you just grinded for is useless or becomes. I mean, that's why I left Destiny, right? Like Destiny
Right.
was just the absolute grind of getting a weapon, and then they rely on FOMO. Oh, hey, if you don't play this week, you're gonna lose the chance to play with this gun,
Right.
and so my
Just it's
my
turn off then for you.
Oh, 100%. But I still like those games. Like it's
Right.
hard because I like and especially when you're playing with friends. Like Division, me and you and our friends, we played that for a while. And it was fun. But then if like you're not available or if he's not available I'm by myself, I'm just getting tore up
Right.
because like everything's changed.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you got to have at
so
least one guy who can put the time in and then helps you, figures out the secrets and stuff.
yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Like Remnant
if
2,
you're
helpful.
yeah,
We had
if
Surfer in
you're
there last night. It's like, Surfer, lead the way. He's
oh
like, you're
yeah,
the YouTuber. I'm like, yeah, but you're the one who has all the time.
dude, he knew all the secrets. I just followed him over. I followed him like a puppy. Like, oh, look,
Yeah.
more
All right.
treats. So no,
All
I
right,
mean, I think
cool. Well,
if you're
we'll
a dad,
continue that.
well, hold on. If you're a dad, my advice to you is figure out what you like and don't be ashamed to be casual because you have other priorities. Like it's okay. You'll once things settle, you'll be able to spend more time doing the things that you want to do more often. But make the time, and if you can't, don't feel bad. Make it. It's your family. So and family's phenomenal. I love my family. I'm a big family guy. So
Well, there you go. You heard it first here from Freddy. Family, phenomenal. Make sure you guys check this out. Make sure you like, subscribe to everywhere we are, which is everywhere in the universe. If you're there, we're there. You'll find us. Click the button. And I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I know I am. Hanging out with Freddy is always a good time. We'll kick off the next one, maybe going a little bit deeper on whether or not these like live service games are healthy for us parents. It has been
well,
an honor
wait. Just want to make
spending
sure
time
everybody knows
with you.
that we officially have launched our podcast across all platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and all the others. So find us on your favorite streaming podcast area, Google Podcast, and make sure you subscribe and listen and send us positive vibes.
Yes, I
Cheers.
want all your vibes. And if you are in Discord, by all means, put comments on what you think we should talk about. Because believe me, we will. All right, it's been an honor, man. I love hanging out with you.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm
I love
excited.
you, bro. I love you, bro. All
My
right,
best friend. Okay,
this is
so
over.
enough of that. My opinion on Brian's hair.
All right, goodbye, y'all. Have a